Morning, Raptor Freak Alexiats here. Saturday morning, big game today. We don't have a lot of time before this game starts. It's at 2 p.m., so I don't want to do a real long stream today, guys. But we got to do the proper preview for Game 4 today, Round 1, Eastern Conference. Raptors with the Sixers at home against them. And I can't understate how important this game is for different reasons. Obviously, we don't win, we're out. Obviously, if our best guys don't play good, people are going to be derisive and talk shit about them for the summer and stuff like that. Yeah, Tom Duke's already come in with a William Wallace. Right? Every man dies, not every man truly lives. Yes, Tom Duke. All right, so I am going to try and make this a little bit expedited just because there isn't a huge window between now and the game, and I want to be able to get the information out. We'll start with the injuries first. Obviously, on our side, Scotty's still doubtful. Like I said the other day, he was for sure going to play, but yesterday in practice, Nick Nurse said that it didn't seem like they might try and force him to come back. So he really is a game time decision. He's not guaranteed to play tonight. And I don't know. I can see the benefits of either way, the decision as far as like making him play or having him play or him not having him play also. I can see both ways. Like as Nick put it yesterday, he wants to get him the chance to have another game. So it may be that he means he wants his team to win Game 4, and then Scotty fully will be ready for sure on Monday for Game 5 against Philadelphia. And that may be what he means, that he wants to extend the series so that Scotty can be able to play a game and not play today. Which I mean, I understand. A lot of people on this channel have espoused that they think that they should just hold Scotty and not try and do something crazy just to force it or something like that, that could be dangerous and those kind of things. So I'm kind of with it in that kind of way. Now, that's the only thing on our side. Everybody's good to go as far as everything else. And then on the other side is very interesting. Of course, Thibault's not in Canada still. He's not allowed to be here. And Bassie is still out for sure. But there was a report out yesterday from Philadelphia practice that Joel Embiid's thumb is really fucked up. And that he's going to be able to play still with it, but it limits certain things that he can do with his hand. We've seen him in the last couple of games. The way he's holding his hand and stuff like that, his thumb is not good. And that, this may be trouble for Philadelphia's hopes going forward. And, their philosophy is going to be, we need to get him rest. So they're going to want to try and close this out today. And the other thing about it, too, is I think for the Raptors, from a strategy point, they need to really realize that he's having problems with that hand. And that if we can kind of, run the water a certain way with our defense, like try and make him go to a certain side or his hand that's messed up, then maybe we can cause more turnovers off him than normal. That's what I'm saying. Like you gotta, if you see a weakness, even if it's a kind of a slight injury, work it into your game plan as far as your defensive scheme and how you want to guard him and stuff like that, because you may get some very fruitful turnovers. You may get different things, good things to happen if you try and direct their offense to give the ball to him with that bad hand. Is what I'm saying, basically. But yeah, this is very interesting news. This is not good news for Philadelphia fan nation for a deep run. And once again, like we've been saying this whole series, neither one of our fan nations likes to see injuries and likes to see like things like this happen or determine any kind of things like that. The thing that happened to Sky was disappointing. And, this happening to Joel Embiid in a lot of ways is disappointing also. So I'll just put it that way. Let's keep going here. Guys, we got a really bad ref crew today. I'm just going to tell you right now, doing the ref check, I'm really not happy about this because honestly, if there's going to be a ref hit job today, it's going to be done to us. And I'm not going to lie. And this is why I'm going to tell you right now. Our crew chief tonight is Scott Foster. And we know Scott Foster is one of the most notorious, nefarious referees in the NBA right now. He is one of the ones that's still kind of like linked to this Tim Donaghy betting scandal, that they have said that he was one of his partners in doing this kind of stuff. And he's, of course, the one who has the grudge against Chris Paul, who, conveniently hurts the Suns whenever he's reffing their games and stuff like that. And, that's not even the worst of it, guys. Scott Foster is our number one ref, and our second ref is Ed Malloy. We've got Scott Foster, Ed Malloy as our referees today. And we know Ed Malloy has caused some referee hit jobs against the Raptors this year, specifically helping the Boston Celtics beat us a couple times this year. Well, this is not good because Ed Malloy's in the Philadelphia referee mafia. He is from Philadelphia. He's from Pennsylvania. He is part of this group that I was talking about earlier this week that is in a fraternity of Philadelphia refs that has kind of ran the NBA for decades and decades. So we got Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and Rodney Mott. Rodney Mott is the third ref. And, he's the one that we like the best as out of the three of them, is most trustworthy. But all three of these guys are 25-year plus refs. They're giving us a very experienced ref crew today. And you know what? Listen, if they can help us out, and I'm wrong, but I really feel I smell a hit job coming up with these referees today, just particular because these guys are two of the best at making a referee hit job happen. Scott Foster and Ed Malloy. I want to be optimistic about this, but seeing their names on the ref assignment sheet this morning is not good. It's not good. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'll tell you the percentages that they've done for us over the years. Ed Malloy, we win under Ed Malloy 45.3% of the time. Rodney Mott, we win 44.9% of the time. Scott Foster, we win 43.6% of the time. And our winning percentage as a franchise overall is 48%. So these guys are all below average, below the average of our win totals. And that's true with a lot of the 20-year vets. But they are they're in the normal range for these guys. And it's not good. It's not a good ref crew. I'm really worried. Worst refs we could get in some ways. Like if it had been Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, and Tony Brothers, it would have been, whoa, but listen, if this is going to be what it is, this whole series, where it's been a lot of 8-on-5, and it could be that way again today. But then again, it could be something weird where, I could see where they're coming in with the perspective they want Philadelphia to sweep. They want Joel Embiid to heal and have some time between the series and stuff like that. The NBA head office is thinking that way. But then again, it could be also they want to please the home crowd, and maybe they want to do certain things. We really need to watch Scott Foster and Ed Malloy today because that's what I'm saying. This is going to be a huge factor. Tom Duke's saying 1:43 starts with this game. It could happen. I love the logic of Nick Nurse yesterday in his press conference. He's saying, nobody's come back from being down like this, but you know what? Somebody's come back from being down 3-1. And that's what he's saying. So if he wins today, it instantly changes the odds. And he says this is actually a possible path because somebody has come back from down 3-1, but nobody's come back from down 3-0. So change it to 3-1, and then all of a sudden the realm of possibility does open up. It's really interesting and funny that he said it that way. Lumpy Rex is here. Good to see Lumpy Rex. Yo, let's come out and murder these Sixers. Whoa. That's hardcore. It's like Pascal was saying, this is gonna be a slugfest. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, I hope it's not a slugfest. He's like, I hope this is not a murder. Okay, let's just put it that way, Lumpy. Tom Duke's saying, worst refs, of course. Let's go. Yes, if we're gonna have the odds against us, we really gonna have the odds against us and stuff like that. Kareem Thomas is saying, Lumpy Rex, win or lose, let's make these bitches limp to their next game. Wow, Kareem. You guys are hardcore, and I'm not going to tell you guys not to do this because I am a Raptor fan and I'm on your side, but this is a little inappropriate, guys, just a little inappropriate. Raymond Jacobs saying, sorry, but not impressed one bit with Nurse this series. Yeah, you know what? In some ways, I got to agree with you, Raymond. He's really kind of let us down. That, we were really touting him as having the advantage over Doc, and that has not been the case. The last play of the last game proves it right there, that Nick was trying to play for a lob to the basket, a closer thing to the basket, which makes sense because we were tied, and they didn't need a three-pointer. In fact, that totally makes sense that somebody would lob it to the basket and get a much easier high percentage shot than throw it to a guy at three-point line. And that in itself is Doc out coaching Nick and getting that shot successful and stuff like that. So I can't disagree with what Raymond's saying. But once again, I think that it may be in some ways, it's a weird thing with this whole thing, like with Nick's coaching in this series and stuff like that. There's a lot of different things at work that are making him look bad also. But some of it is him. I'm not going to disagree. And one thing I still want to say though, from my rant yesterday and different things like that, we don't need to be playing blame games. Like this year's a super huge successful year. Nick needs some criticism for sure, and he maybe needs to go back and maybe like realize where he kind of like maybe could have done something different, and maybe that informs his choices in the future. But he's a great coach, and I'm going to always stand up for him. But I have to agree with Raymond. I'm not impressed with him. I can't say that I think that our coach was the best coach in the series, and that's too bad because that should have been a given. That should have been a given going into the series. But Doc Rivers has outcoached him, and that is just the damn truth. Tom Duke is saying Gary Trent Jr. is feeling better, even better, and could be Batman today. I love this. We're doing the whole Batman and Robin thing today. Whoever shows up and is Batman, I don't give a shit about who's Batman. I want to see Batman. I want to see Superman. I want to see Aquaman. I want to see Hawkman. I want to see the Flash. I want to see Green Lantern. I want to see the whole fucking Super Friends, the whole Justice League, because we need each one of these guys to show up and be something. Precious is Aquaman. We got Superman over here as a Pascal Siakam. We got Batman as Gary Trent Jr. As long as we have as good a collection of those superheroes out there all together and working in concert together and working really well, then I'll be real happy. But yeah, Gary Trent, he's set up hopefully to have a really good game tonight. I know all these guys have motivation. They all have different things to prove. Listen, the one thing that yesterday about Pascal's press conference that I didn't like was some of the things he was saying was not the right kind of things to be saying. Like one of the things he said, and I know I'm going to give fuel to the people that I was telling to shut up yesterday, but I have to be honest, and I have to be true. It's one of the things he said, he didn't realize that he had not shot that much in the second half on the game 3. And I'm like, well, listen, dude, you can't be like this. In some ways, I feel like you go on cruise control, and as you put it, you just take what you want to take what they give you. And you can't do that to a degree. Part of their criticism of you is you're not being aggressive enough. And this is definitely something you need to be, at least in your designated number one role as the man on our team this year. It's the beginning of the year. You said you're the man this year. Well, you got to be the man. You got to be the man, Pascal. And that means being more aggressive and fighting and taking your own shots. Like if you didn't realize you only had 5 shots in the second half of the last game, that's not good. Because some of these really important superstars and stuff like that, they're keeping track of all this kind of stuff, and they're understanding when they need to go. And I don't want to think that it's anything weird about your personality, but you need to realize when you need to be aggressive. Maybe you need to go sit next to Yuta a bit and understand how he had to learn how to be aggressive. Because that was a thing that Yuta got criticized for in the year last year, and he went out and worked on it. So you know what? It may be, Pascal, you need to be more aggressive. It's just basically pure and simply that. And stop just settling for what they're giving to you. Go and take what you want is what we're saying. And we still love and support you. This is not me tearing you down. This is me saying, please be more aggressive. Step up and show yourself at the end of the game. Because then it'll quiet a lot of these people that hate you, obviously, and a lot of the people like me that want you to succeed and kick ass and have a real view of what you're doing. So yeah, I didn't like hearing what he said to a degree, and it made me feel like maybe he is being a little too casual, and that he needs to be getting into the game and understanding exactly, reading the game better and understanding. Yeah, I need to step up. Because I've been the go-to guy. I designated myself the man at the beginning of the year, and that's the stuff like that. So what I just did is constructive criticism, and that's the difference between slander. Slander is, I just fucking hate him, get him off my team. Or slander is, I just trade him. We need to trade him. I'm sick of him. That it's when you throw up your hands and you're just sick of him, and you're just like throw him away like a piece of garbage. That is the stuff I'm talking about that isn't constructive. The stuff that's constructive is say, well, maybe Nick needs to give him more of a better playbook. Maybe he needs to think in his head, be more aggressive. Maybe you need to do this, Pascal, as far as X's and O's and different things to find yourself an easier open shot. And it's not just like, you know what, I hate him, get out of here. That's what we're talking about. The difference here is what I'm saying. We can be critical of him, but it has to be in the sense of basketball and playing and X's and O's and things like that. And I don't like the argument about, well, we should just trade them and stuff like that, because we do not decide this. We have the players that we have because Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri have built this team. And that's when I say trust in Messiah. That's what I mean, is that they built the machine the way it's supposed to be, and we have to accept it. And when the changes come, they'll come as they're supposed to. If things happen a certain way and things have to happen in a certain way, they will happen that way. But we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves and just allow for success still, because this is somebody who's a family member, this is a team member, and this is somebody we should support no matter what, even so. So, all right, let me see what you guys are saying. All right, Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem Thomas. I don't want to sound like a person of bad sportsmanship, but fuck it. We need to hack the fucking thumb off until it's no use. Oh my gosh, Kareem. Listen, man, your mentality is really cutting is strong, but I'm not gonna dish you or think you're wrong for this. I mean, yes, maybe in a way, but yeah, but your heart's in the right place, is what I'll say. Even if we don't win, we need to make our presence felt. We ain't no bitches. Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, Kareem, I'm with you on this. We need to make sure that we put a good showing in this game, and we need to win this game. First of all, I don't want to let Shaq be right about the sweep. I don't want all these Philadelphia fans. I heard this morning that a Philadelphia fans here in Toronto, he was on the street and he was telling a Toronto Raptor fan that he's going to bring a broom to the game today. And I don't know. I don't think Scotiabank Arena staff will let him bring a broom into our building. But if he does, I'm going to be, what the fuck? We don't need no brooms being brought to our building by a Philadelphia fan who's visiting. And that's what I'm saying right now. We need to have some pride. We need to have something like, we don't go out like this. We beat them 3-1 in the regular season. We need the inverse of that now. We need to get a one now, today, at 2:00 in just a few hours, because this game is very soon. And this is put up or shut up time. This is a matter of pride. This is a matter of saving face. This is a matter of saying, well, we got you at least once. But hey, if we get them once, let's build on it and try and get game 5. That's what I'm saying. We got to take it game by game, play by play. And today is so essential that all of our guys play with their heads straight, play aggressively, play smart, play off of each other, play hard, go after every single thing. Because basically, like Pascal said, this is the most important game of their year today. And that's what I'm saying. They got to come out there and act like it. They have to put everything on the court, because there's no tomorrow guaranteed. And if they want a tomorrow, they need to win today. That's just no and, ifs, or buts. That's just the damn reality of the situation. And they understand that gravity and stuff like that. So this is really important. York Baller's here. Good to see York Baller. Go Raps. Go me. Go York Baller. And York Baller's saying, this guy has been putting work all year long. As a fellow YouTuber and Raptor Nation fan, much love. Appreciate that, York Baller. Listen, I want to see your channel. If you've got some content out there, I'm going to come check out your stuff today also, for sure. I don't know what you're doing in your station on. Maybe it is Raptors too. But I love to see what you're doing, and I appreciate the nice words. Lumpy's saying, exactly, Kareem. We got to go down playing hard. Our season isn't going down like this. So true. There's so much to prove. We need Pascal to kick some ass today, just so that he can save face and not be like the butt or the blame game for this whole thing. It's like, I don't want to do this summer. I don't want to go fighting for his pride and his honor all summer long. And, we'll have a moment some point this summer where we'll do a spotlight on Pascal, and we'll talk about him fairly. We'll talk about everything good about him and everything about him, but we'll also talk about some of our concerns about him also. And we'll make sure that we do a fair job of it. So we need this to happen just for so many different reasons. For, the safe face for Nick Nurse, safe face for our leaders and our team in general, and just protect home and stop. The Sixers fan has every right to talk so much shit to us and lord over us right now. And I hate that. I hate that so much, because we don't have, like I said this week, I have no leg to stand on. I can't argue with them. And, they come in here, and I'm so thankful. Raymond, you were hitting the wrench yesterday. It was badass. That that I can't talk shit to them. Like, if I had the ability to talk shit to them, I would right now, but I can't. I have no leg to stand on. I have no ammunition to fire back at them, and that's just the damn truth. It's sad. So hopefully this will change. And today I can have a little bit to talk trash about, because the Raptors won this game today, and we need to win this game. It's just a must win in every kind of aspect. All right, let's see. Raymond Jacobs saying at Kareem. Wink. I read many want Johnny to sweep the leg. Now we got a Karate Kid a reference here. Yeah, that's hilarious. Johnny sweep the leg. That's hilarious. I love it. Lumby Rex is saying, Lexi, thank you for mentioning Pascal's press conference. I didn't like what he was saying either. I appreciate your perspective on criticism. Yeah, listen, I have to be fair. Like, once again, I watched these interviews very like intel, like looking for tells, looking for any kind of thing, and I feel like Pascal's a little too casual yesterday in some ways. That in some ways, like I don't know if he needs to feel that gravity of failure again so heavy that he understands like you can't be like this, you can't be fucking like but yeah, it really surprised me how unaware he is of what he's actually done on the court. Like he can play a whole half and not realize that he hasn't made any shots because he was talking like he was like, yeah, I make some and I don't make some. And I'm like, well, you only took five. And what the fuck was going on with that? So we do want you to be more aggressive, Pascal. You need to be more aggressive, not because of me and the other fans that are here, but for these other fans that want your head. Is we need you to do this so we can have some ammunition in that fight. Saying, well, listen, he's doing this and he's doing this, and he really does care and stuff like that. It's not that I don't think he doesn't care. It's just that there's a weird detachment between him understanding what he's doing on the court, what is expected of him on the court, and how much more he could possibly be doing. And I don't know if it's he could do more or what the fuck's going on exactly. We just need him to be more aware. It's the same kind of thing with the triple doubles. He never understands when he's close to getting a triple double. Pascal, start doing stat checks because you are the man on our team. You need to start doing stat checks on the bench. Just get Nate for a second and say, hey, how many points and rebounds do I have? And then make some mini goals for you in the game. Like say, okay, I have 7 rebounds right now. I'm going to go get 3 more because I want 10. Shit like that, Pascal. Because listen, all these other guys are worried about their stats. And in some way that says something about the unselfishness of you, that you don't worry about your own stats. And that's really admirable in some ways. But in some ways, you need to eat and you need to be selfish. And that's what I'm saying. Just grab an assistant coach and say, how many points do I have right now? And then make yourself a little goal to get to the next point amount that'll look good, is what I'm saying. And this is what superstar players have done throughout the history of the NBA. Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, especially. These guys look at how many points they have and they make a goal for themselves in the game and they go for it. You need to start doing this, Pascal. You can't be on autopilot. You can't be like, I'm just going to let the game flow and how it's going to happen. You need to make your mark on the game. And this is how you'll do it. Yeah. Fan Chunk saying someone needs to make Embiid take more personal fouls today. Yeah, let's go right at him. Let's, like I was saying, if we can angle it so that we go at his bad hand and have him have to use that more in different ways and things, we might get some good success. So, this is the thing. It's that kind of stuff that we need to hopefully happen. Like we did a good job of getting James in foul trouble in the last game. Let's try and do that again today with some of the other Sixers, like any of the main important ones, whether it's Embiid, Maxey, Harris, or Harden. That would be really smart. Tom Duke saying we need Pascal to become hungry. Pepper, yeah, we all end up dead. It's just a question of how and why. Yeah. That's and Lumpy saw that press conference and was like, and it didn't look good. It didn't, honestly. After all the things I said in the morning that I was watching, I'm like, Pascal, you're not really helping me with my argument to support you when you're acting like this. It's not really he's acting like anything. It's just him being him. And it's not that he's dumb. It's not like this or anything. It's just that he's, he's in some ways, he keeps himself in a bubble away from all of us. And that's protecting himself. He's not listening to this noise. And thank God, because it's ugly. And it won't help him. It won't help him in any kind of way. Fanfade Chunk saying, hope Scotty's able to play today. I do too. In some ways, I really do want him to play. But if it is something where it could be very risky long-term for him, then I do want him to sit. It's basically that. If there is a risk of any kind of long-term injury for him, if he plays today, then we should not play him. But if he's fine and he's ready, he could play, and that's fantastic. That'll really help us. Jimmy Pope's saying our top guys better step up. I agree with this. Jimmy Pope's also say they get paid big money for a reason. Like, I love Pascal, but come on, you can't go out like that in an important game. Yeah. Him specifically is a really important one. Like Fred, we can make excuses for it to a degree because he's hurt. Like that, his knee's going to need surgery. Like I'm telling you, as soon as we finish playing, he's going to get a surgery and he'll be out for a little while for the off season. That he's just waiting for for us to be done, and then he'll do the surgery and stuff like that. So Yeah. All right. Let me keep going. All right. So I gave you the ref check. Yeah, it's really unfortunate. Scott Foster, Ed Malloy, Rodney Mott. And then I've done the injury report, and we're kind of like talking about keys to the victory. I like going at them to get fouls on them. I like really maybe trying to figure out some way we can capitalize on Embiid's injury. I also like just building off of what we did in Game 3. There's more quarters where they don't score 30 points. That's fantastic. But also at the same token, we need to get more offense going easier for us also. And that's crashing the boards. It's doing everything that we've done really well this year, which is being the ultimate energy team all over the place, playing suffocating defense, crashing the boards, getting more rebounds, getting more field goal attempts than the other team. All this stuff has to happen today. We have to be the epitome of what the 2021-2022 regular season Raptors were. We need to show everything that we did really well in the season to the top level today. And I really, really hope we do. Jimmy just took his message away. I'm not sure what he said. He took it away right when I was about to read it, but that's okay. All right, I'm going to try and make this real quick because, like I said, we don't have a lot of time before the game's going to start. It's going to start in just over 4 hours. Summer Low saying, has it been confirmed Embiid is playing today? Yes, he will be playing today for sure. He's not been on the injury list at all. We just know that he is hurt. He's that kind of guy. He's going to play through this injury right and through until the end. It's the kind of thing where he can play with it. It's very painful. It's similar to what's going on with Thad right now, but he will play with it because this matters a lot. He's going to show up. He's not going to sit, even if he's like really hurt. Watch, because that's just that time of year. Tom Duke saying Nick Nurse needs a big game. No crazy texts and genius play calling, please, sir. In some ways, his hands are tied. In some ways, it's like he really has to it's him motivating the team to execute and do his plan. Because in the first 2 games, he had an excellent game plan. A lot of the players have said this in interviews since. We've had a great game plan this whole time. It's just we didn't do it. So it's like, to a degree, that's like Nick can set them up and tell them, you got to do this, you got to do this. But if they don't fucking do it, then he looks bad. That's part of the sad part of being a coach, is that if your players don't do it all right for you and execute it, then you look bad. And that's part of what happened in this series, is that the guys failed to do his plan in Game 1 and Game 2. They did better in Game 3, but they didn't do enough to make sure absolutely that they won. And that there was a lot of failure in execution late in the game also in Game 3 that led us to giving up that game, which was really, really bad. Yeah. Lumpy's saying our energy can win it. Just don't give up. Yeah, we really need good energy. We need the fans to come down there and be a carbon copy of the last game and just make it really tough in there. This is the thing. This ref crew is really kind of, I'm scared of this ref crew. I'm not going to lie. This is 2 of the people that I hate reffing games, that they're really, really not fun to have as reffing. But we'll see. Maybe they will help us to a degree. But to me, having Ed Malloy there and knowing that he's one of the Pennsylvania refs and his whole connection with all that is not a good sign. I'm going to tell you right now. But we got to believe, and we got to get one at least. We got to get one. That's what we're doing. Let's see. Jimmy's saying if we play like we did in Game 3, we have a chance. We just got to execute. Yeah, we just got to make sure at the end. Like, there really was a gap where Pascal should have been stepping up and scoring at the end of the game for us and trying to do that. But it just wasn't in the cards in some ways and stuff like that. So Tom Duke saying half-court offense is a little on Nick Nurse. Yeah, like we've been saying, I'd love for him to set up more set plays. Like, let's see actual movement with the players off of each other that looks like, well, that's a play the coach called. And that, wow, look at the great open shot that they just executed and made. Nick Nurse always puts it as this way. He's like, we get good looks, but we sometimes just don't make them. And that's true. There's a lot of shots sometimes that when we go cold and we get good looks, we're just not making them. That is a really big problem. And that's part of where we fail at execution, is we don't make our open shots. And that is a big thing that happened in the Game 3 loss, is that we didn't make open shots at a lot of key times in the fourth quarter. And that's what Nick pointed to as far as why we lost. He did the inbounds play and all this kind of stuff. He would have done it way different, of course, if he'd known that's what they're going to do. That would have, could have, should have. You don't know what they're going to do. That's part of the surprise, and that's the whole thing. But he is also saying he blames the game loss on 3 missed free throws late. We know we've talked about that. They were OG and Pat Precious. And then also just missing open shots late in the game that if we had hit, the game would have been outreach and then we would have won. That's what he was saying in his press conference the last couple of days since his saying. But yeah, Tom Duke's saying iso ball is a decision, isn't it? Well, it isn't and it isn't. You know what it is like I don't know if it's like Fred calling a play or that's just the play they like to call is an isolation play. And that's what they're trying to beat them with is isolation. And yeah, I hate all the isolation ball. I want to change this. If I had any part and have any decision in this, I would be like suggesting this on the coaching staff. I'd be like, why are we doing this so much this way? Why aren't we using them off each other? And like I said, this may be that we got this ground level for the defense and just basic kind of offensive things implemented with our core, our young core, and that we go more advanced this summer and have a little bit more kind of more meat to our offensive schemes and just not look like just that, what we've been talking about, stuff like that. So hey, Greg's here. Good to see Greg. I'm watching your content all week. Good stuff. Top of the morning, freaks. I just woke up. Is the series 1-3 yet? Tom Duke needs a tattoo. 1-14 would be my first tattoo. That's hilarious. I just don't want to get swept, says Jimmy. I'm with him. This is so important. That's why I've got busted out the Drake final shirt today. You know, it's like we got to have some pride. We got to try and stop them from sweeping us. It's very important. 1-143. I will do it. I'm promising here and now. So, Tom, have you been promising a tattoo over on Clink Station? That's very interesting. What I want to know what it's going to be and what is the whole thing, the deal that you're saying, Tom. If you'll get a tattoo for what reason? Just let me know. Jimmy Pub saying that 3 Embiid got was unacceptable. Should never have got a good look like that with 9.9 seconds left. Yeah, I can echo and agree with that all day long. And it was just like I said, they were looking for the lob to the basket, and he didn't. And then Fred didn't come back out quick enough. And like I just didn't like how they set up for it at all. And they just weren't ready for anything. They didn't think about anything, and anything was a 3-point shot. And even though that's not a good idea in that point, it's like, well, maybe it is a good idea because they'll be more wide open than because they're going to be thinking they want an easier shot closer to the basket. So that was just, once again, Doc Rivers out coaching. But this is the thing, y'all, just like in the regular season, how we have wins and losses and we have to forget losses and forget things like this. We're going to have to do this with this series, even though this seems like it's much worse because it's the playoffs and stuff like that. We can't harp and say like our mindset of Pascal or of Nick is of what happened in the series. We have to realize the whole picture and everything about them that's fantastic. As I keep saying this week, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. These are great people to be involved in our team, and they do a lot of great things. And there will be failures at sometimes, but once again, we need to allow them to have them and grow from them and learn from them, and then see what happens next. And then the coaching matchup for Nick Nurse got really hard when our talent level went down for different reasons. And that's the huge thing. And part of it is that Philadelphia has a lot more talent than us running in certain ways. Scotty Barnes is out. That's bad. Gary Trent is not his real self. That's bad. And then Nick Nurse is coaching with the worst team talent-wise against the better team. And that's just hard to do. You know, you're going to lose. Is a very small margin of error, as we keep saying, for the Raptors to be successful. And we've had too much error. And that's what it is. Curtis is here. Good to see Curtis again. The season overall is a success, but the playoff is a little bit of a disappointment, in my opinion. Yeah, that's fair. But you know what? Listen, it isn't and it is. Because listen, we'll look at it this perspective. We could be Cleveland, you know, we could be New York, we could be Washington, we could be any of these teams that aren't playing right now. We are playing right now, and we got a full playoff spot. We didn't lose in a play-in game and went out in one game. What that could have easily been something that happened to us if we didn't get as many wins as we did. So I'll argue this till I'm blue in the face. Just getting to a regular playoff spot and being number 5 in the East this year is a huge success. I don't give a shit if we got swept in the first round, which it's not going to fucking happen today. I'm just saying, I think that this year, even with the playoffs, you got to look at what success means and what it could be even in failure. And that's what this is. We're having success, even if it seems like this is a failure and stuff like that. Nobody likes losing in any kind of way. And that, this is just part of sports, and that we learn where we need to go next and what we got to improve next. So, and stuff like that. But I agree. I agree with Curtis. It's like this has been a bit of a disappointment, but also don't put so much weight into it. Don't put so much into like this. If, this series with Philadelphia, honestly, because the future is so bright and there's so many different things, and the learning experiences for our young players is so valuable. There's so many good things happening because of this. There's a bright side. But like Fred said, there's no moral victories in this. He doesn't find any moral victories in any of the shit that's been happening with this. This just stinks to him. And I agree with that to a degree. But also on the same side, I have to look at it from a bright side also. There are some moral victories, though. Deep down inside, there really are. But I'm glad that somebody like Fred VanVleet doesn't want to take them. He wants the real ones. He wants regular victories. And moral victories don't exist to him. So me as a positive Raptor fan, I will take moral victories, and I will shine a light and say, well, listen, our team's so good. We're going to be so good for years to come. Let's look at that and focus on that once our offseason begins, instead of just focusing on what we just ended and making it so important and paramount. It's behind us once it's behind us. And there's no reason for us to latch onto it and really overanalyze it and say, oh, this is this, and this, and just tear things down, because there's so much more that's been built this year that is awesome than that. And that, we know why we've lost this series. We all know why we've lost this series so far. And that we win today, that's fantastic. We absolutely need to win today. But we know why we've lost this series. It's been a combination of a lot of different things. A very dominant MVP nominee that's in this league, that is one of the biggest, most gifted players in the league. This is not easy. This guy will beat a lot of people. And then, you add in injuries, you add in this kind of stuff. You add in the referees were very unfair at the beginning of the series. And, there's a whole mix into this recipe for how this is all gone. And it shouldn't be that we're pointing fingers too much at our guys. We should be proud of them that they fought and they were warriors through this all still. Let's keep going. Let's see. Clink saying, keep driving the paint. Option 1 is always force them to stop you. I like that. They were talking about that with Pascal and Nick yesterday about what he's doing. And what Nick was saying is that Pascal's trying to go to the basket when he probably should just settle for the jumper. And that in some ways he's making a decision to go forward and go into more traffic than he needs to sometimes right now, than just settle for the jumper at times. Because Nick loves this stat. He said whenever Pascal hits 3 3-pointers, we win. And he wants him to shoot from the outside. He wants, if they're laying off of him and giving him the outside shot, we'll burn them for it. Make sure you make it and start hitting those shots. So Pascal, if they lay off of you and they're going to give you a shot, don't try and look for something to go around them still. Because that was one of the things they were talking about yesterday, is go ahead and take it. Take it. If they're going to give you that open shot, because you need to make it and you hit it and stuff like that. That's what I love to hear. Tom Duke saying, no, a tattoo of 1 and 143. You're going to get a tattoo with those numbers. Just make sure you don't put them somewhere weird, or somebody might think you're some sort of weird prisoner from somewhere or something like that. I don't know. That's my only advice on that, Tom. You do it. Your life, man. It's awesome. Greg saying, Ed Tom Duke, explain the tattoo. It's awesome. I'm sure. All right. I'm going to see what he says down here. Jimmy saying, I guess they didn't expect that. Yeah, they didn't expect that, because it doesn't make sense. The game's tied right at the end of the game. And, it's easy. They can win on a 2, or they could even win on a foul. But this is one of the things also that was going on at that moment. We had a foul to give. And what Nick Nurse wanted to do was foul them in the 0.9 seconds, because it just means they'll put the ball back out and there's even less time on the clock. So that didn't get to happen. And the other thing that's really annoying is that Doc Rivers made that run down the court to get his timeout. Well, Nick Nurse wanted to call a timeout his damn self at different points in the game, and they didn't allow him to get a timeout right at the very end after Joel Embiid made the shot and stuff like that. They didn't give him the timeout when he wanted it, which was messed up. Callie saying, let's win this game. Hope to see a more aggressive Pascal. If not, give the ball to OG. Yeah, I like that. I want to see a more aggressive Fred VanVleet also today. I know Fred, is hurt and different things like that, but there are ways that Fred can step up and hit a big three at the end of the game to really help us and stuff like that. But let's not do too much woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's just going to be what it is. And, we're going to have to live with it. And, we'll see what happens. Maybe really good things will happen today, and we'll be getting another game on Monday. And that's what we want. We'll take it step by step. Tom Duke saying 143 teams have lost series after being down 0-3. We would be the first team to win after being down 0-3. Thus, I have been saying all the world will know the stat of 143. Yes, he's been doing this all week here and here too, Greg, talking about 1-143. I knew what the significance of the numbers were. I just was like wondering if there was more to it. Like, are you going to put this on a weird place on your body, Tom, or is it just like, you just want the number somewhere? Jimmy's saying, any news on Scotty? I saw he was doubtful. Actually, yeah, it sucks because like on Thursday, we were all saying he's playing for sure. And then on Friday, Nick Nurse cast a lot of doubt on whether he is. And he literally is doubtful because, it's the kind of thing where they're trying to weigh what the risk reward on this whole thing, and whether we don't want to do something stupid just because we feel like we're pressured because it's the game 4 and stuff like that. But I have a feeling he may not play today. I really hope he does, and in some ways that could be very inspiring if he does show up. But once again, I don't want him to do it if there's any kind of weird, kind of bad risk possibly on him coming back. Clink saying at Curtis, you're right. For us fans, the playoffs have been rough and the players have higher aspirations. This game matters for team unity and growth. We need to see some fight. We will see some fight. I like Greg saying here. Yeah, for sure. Callie saying, sorry, I came late. Is Scotty playing? Right now, it looks like he's not going to be playing today, Callie. He's doubtful. And the way they were talking yesterday made it sound more and more like they're not going to play him today. That Nick is going to try and get the win today so that Scotty can come back and play in game 5 is the way that he was saying it yesterday. So that's what we're hearing. Fan Chunk saying 30 plus points from Gary Trent and we win this game. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, we need a lot of different things. Like, if we get certain, like I said, we need the whole Super Friends today. We don't just need Batman and Robin. We need Superman. We need Wonder Woman. Well, I don't know who Wonder Woman is, but we need Aquaman. We need the Green Lantern. We need Hawkman. We need all these guys to show up and be superheroes tonight. Or today, I should say today. Yeah, but Gary getting 30 plus points will really help to go towards that goal. Curtis is saying back at Jubstown, I would honestly be okay with us responding and trying to take the series to 6 games. Yeah, I mean, anything. Just extend it as far as we can. And if it goes to a game 7, anything can happen. That's the thing. But yeah, we need to at least stop the sweep. That's my very first goal. It's like Tom Duke's getting ahead and he wants to get this tattoo and be the first team to ever come back from an 0-3 deficit. But me, I'm just like, let's stop the sweep. That's what I'm saying. That's the most important thing to me right now. And then we'll build from that if we're successful in doing that. That's the way I look at it. Let's see. Clink is saying, okay, it jumped ahead. Forcing them to stop you just means make them move, make them react before shooting or kicking. Yeah. Well, if we can draw fouls on them in any kind of way, that's always good. That's very good. Curtis is saying, if Scotty is back, I think we would win today. I hope so. I'd love to see him win. He would really help us for sure. But we need to be ready for him not to show up. But it would be kind of like this Willis Reed thing where he just comes out and he's like, oh, Scotty's playing. And everybody's like, yes. And that could be a real boost and a real positive feeling kind of thing. Evelyn saying, good morning. Be positive and have faith, my Raptor fans. Let's go. Evelyn is so sunshiny and so awesome. You are exactly the kind of Raptor fan that we need more of, that's just positive and loves her team and is rooting for them and believes in them no matter what. I believe in them too. We got to get this one. We are going to win today. I know we're going to win today. We have too much pride and we're going to see some good things from guys that really need to step up today. I really believe it. Jubstown Clink saying at Curtis, same, just some fight is good. We're both going to be disappointed though because they are winning this in 7. Damn, I need Tom's emoticons. Yeah, I don't know where Tom gets some of his emoticons. I think he has a special package. Maybe he paid a little extra money to have a premium emoticon package because he is a true artiste with his emoticon art and stuff like that. Yeah, Curtis is saying at Greg, if we actually come back and win, that would be so crazy. It really would be insanely crazy and different and weird, and it would really make things a lot different as far as shit talking shocking between Sixer Nation and us. I mean, it really would change things completely if we were able to do that kind of stuff. All right, let's see. Clink saying he wants an impression Tom Duke seeing his new tattoo in the mirror after Game 7. All right, I don't know how Tom speaks. Tom, I'm not trying to insult you. I know that you and I are good friends now after a year of hanging out on YouTube here. So I'm going to do this, but I don't know how Tom speaks. So I'm just going to do this my way. All right. And no offense if I do anything to offend you, Tom. I'm doing this blindly because I have no idea enough about you in some ways. All right. So I'm just doing this. Okay. Oh, it looks good. Wow. They really got it right in the center. I don't know. I thought it would be funny if he put it right on his forehead right there. I don't know. Curtis is saying Banton should have got some playing time in Game 3. Yeah, maybe he'll get some playing time today. That'd be pretty cool. Callie's saying, okay, well, let's get the win for Scotty. Let's do it for Scotty. Let's do it for Monique. Let's do it for Callie. Let's do it for Sue. Let's do it for Tom Duke. Let's do it for Lumpy Rex. Let's do it for Greg. Let's do it for Curtis. Let's do it for everybody. That's what I'm saying. Let's do this. Let's stop that Philadelphia fan with that broom coming into the arena today. That security, they look through everything. You better see a motherfucking broom if somebody's fucking holding a broom coming into the building. You better confiscate that shit because you shouldn't be able to bring a fucking broom into the building. That could be a weapon. You know, maybe he has a little sweeper broom. Maybe he can hide that. They might hide that down their pants and then pull it out in the middle of the game or something like that. All I'm saying is, if you're running security and you're checking people at the metal detectors tonight at Scotiabank Arena, you look out for a Philadelphia fan carrying a broom into our building tonight. That should not be allowed, just on principle. You know, I don't know. You can make up some excuse. This is a weapon, sir. You cannot bring this into the building. You know, do that shit. So Scotiabank people, please do that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. All right. All right. Tom Duke saying, Clink. Oh my gosh, I really don't want a tattoo. Like, Tom, you don't have any tattoos, do you? I don't have any tattoos myself. I'm not that kind of person. I just don't have them. I'm not into it. I heard they're very addictive. Like, if you get one, then you just want to keep getting them. And I'm a very addictive personality as an alcoholic. So I figured, you know, if I open that door to tattoo world, then it's all over for me. Then I'll be like looking like the living lizard man or something. I'll look like Kasky or some shit, you know. But that's the thing. It's the same thing for me with gambling. Like right now, I want to talk about this just for a second. It seems like the world of sports is getting inundated with legalized gambling all over it. Like we see the commercials with Wayne Gretzky on every commercial break. You know, they opened up gambling in Ontario in a major big way. And, you know, even TSN, the way that the channel is run now, there's so much gambling content on it. They have that one guy who comes out and talks about making bets and taking the over under on different things. I don't like this trend. I think this is fucked up. I think it's kind of really bad. And it's a sign of the crumble of society because somebody like me who's an addict, I've never, ever gambled on anything for the most part. I'll make a small wager on the Raptors to get in the playoffs, which I won this year, something like that. But I will not gamble on my day-to-day life because I realize just how much money I would lose and how much of an addictive personality I have. And that, you know, with the way inequality is in society and the way wealth is distributed in different ways, this is just bad. This is another bad sign that more poor people are going to be poor because of this fucking gambling that's inundating us and just being washed over us in different ways. So I do not agree with this trend of opening up gambling on sports in Ontario and having so many commercials on there. Like when I saw the commercials recently, I was like, I was literally having to do 12-step work on myself to not want to gamble. And that is what's wrong with it, y'all, is we have addicts, people like me, that can fall into this shit and ruin their lives. And that is why this is insidious. And I don't like it necessarily. I'm not going to diss anybody who's gambling in their own lives and living their own lives. This is just what I see as a sociologist from the outside. And this is not a good development. This is not a good thing for society. And I'm really disappointed in Ontario for changing the laws and doing this, honestly, to be quite honest. And this is as a real diehard sports fan. And, you know, that may be a differing opinion from other people and stuff like that. But this is me coming from an addictive personality and like watching all this and like, I don't have money to gamble on this kind of shit, but they're pushing it on me like crazy, like gamble, go gamble, go gamble. I don't like this development with sports. because I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good for society. I think that the people that don't need to be spending their money on that are going to be like doing it and losing money and be in worse places. And then we'll have more homeless people. We'll have more people living in tents in the fucking park and shit like that. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's keep going. Jimmy's saying, "Oh no, I forgot the game is on at 2. I hate early games." Well, at least it's not noon. At least it's not on in the next like hour and 45 minutes. They always used to give us that noon game in the first round. It was really bad. Tom Duke saying, "I'm just trying to even things out and be that crazy positive guy. So many hope killers out there. We need more Granny Evelyns." Yes, Tom Duke, you are fighting the good fight. You are a positive person, and I love you for it. You're the best in that way. I love it. Curtis saying that, Jimmy, hope me too. I'm going to miss the first half. Yeah, people have work or they have different things they have to do already, different things. It sucks. It's just such a weird body rhythm. It's not like, have they played a single game this season at 2 p.m. for any fucking thing? No, that's why this is so weird in kind of a weird way that the NBA can fuck things up. So instead of giving us our afternoon game as game one to get us in a bad place right from the start, they give us our afternoon game in our elimination game where we're in trouble, where we might get eliminated. And I don't like that. That to me is kind of like a red flag or kind of like sketchy that this game is at this time, at this point, stuff like that. But you know what? We got to do what we got to do with whatever the settings are, whether it's the refs, whether what time we're playing, whatever it is. All right, let me keep going. All right, I see there's quite a bit here, so I want to catch up. Tom's saying that I can't offend him. Okay, I hope I did okay. I wanted to make it comical, but not making fun of you. I just wanted to make it kind of something funny. I think I did all right. You like that? You like that? Yeah, you would. That's where you would put it. Like if you do it, Tom, you have to put it there now. Is what it's going on. And Greg says it's an A++ impression. He talks like that too. Well, he talks like me then. Like Tom and I have the same voice because I just used my regular voice when I did that. It was pretty good. Callie saying, I'm predicting no slam dunks from Embiid. Laugh out loud. I love that prediction. And if he does, let's go put him on the floor. Callie saying, I hate all those gambling commercials. Ugh, I have tattoos though. They're not addicting. They hurt like hell. Yeah, I mean, I've heard that from different people. It may be that you're just not an addictive personality like me, like and stuff like that. Tattoos are fine. I'm not against them. I just know that for myself, I've never had them. My grandmother used to always tell me weird things like, people that get tattoos hate themselves. It's a self-mutilation abuse, stuff like that. I don't agree with that, but like, I had influences around me that were telling me, oh, I've been in a car wreck. I've had a lot of injuries in my life, so I have a lot of really bad scars up and down my body. And I always tell people, I don't need tattoos. I've got these crazy badass scars all over me. Like you can see them kind of on my face. Like I literally had my face cut in half by a windshield once, where my lip was literally hanging over on here, and they had to sew it back on. You may see a line next to my mouth, and that's because a windshield came right across my face, sliced my nose all the way down here and down there, and my face was literally hanging off and stuff like that. So but I don't like them either. I'm not happy with this development, and especially seeing that TSN, the station, is encouraging it and incorporating it into their broadcasting and stuff like that. I don't like seeing this dude talking about odds. And first of all, the way he talks about the team is fucking full of shit too, because he's not a Raptor fan and he puts us down with his like odds making. He's like, well, the Revolution. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't want to see your fucking face, you fucking gambling degenerate motherfucker. Shit like that. But yeah, okay, they hurt like hell. I believe that. I mean, that's part of the reason why I don't have any either. Is like I don't want pain like that for no reason. I mean, just to get art. And also, it's like the commitment. Like if you have it for a long time. I've seen the Undertaker. He put his wife Sarah's name on his neck, and he's like, they're not together anymore. So he had to do some stuff to change that and stuff like that. It's that kind of stuff that I'm like, Greg's saying same. I just save it for between friends bettings for fun. Although I made a bet the Raps made playoffs and won that Nets would miss the playoffs this year, I would have made a fortune, almost won it. Yeah, you almost did. Like if the Nets had not made the play-in, and won in the play-in, that's very close. Yeah, I don't have any problem with friendly gambling. I'm just saying, knowing my personality as an addict, as an alcoholic, as somebody who's had battles with addiction to different things and have overcome them, the gambling addiction is a very real thing also. And that this in some ways is immoral. what they're doing with putting it all front and fore in their face of people. Because listen, if I'm having triggers and I'm not even an established gambler, I'm not even a person who has a pattern or a history of gambling, and I'm having triggers to want to go gamble because of this bullshit that they're putting on the commercials, that's a problem. That's a problem because people that are weaker than me are going to go there and they're going to ruin their lives. And that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Calipoon's saying, real talk from Raptor Freak, the sociologist on the sports betting scam, sucking out working people's savings and getting people to feel like it's their fault if they're poor. And he's also saying, I also made a single bet, though, on Raps winning the Larry O'Brien. Huh? Well, that's smart because honestly, if you put a little bit of money and it becomes a big, huge thing by then, oh my gosh. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. It's like I used to work in the variety store in Kensington Variety in Kensington Market. I was a person who sold OLG. And I saw how much money was getting spent on fucking Lotto Max and 649 and, just daily, all those fucking games. In some ways, that's insidious because I saw the people who came in and bought it and spent money on it and how they probably should not be spending that much money on their life and what they're doing in that way. And they just lose it. That's what I'm saying. It's a really fucked up way to transfer wealth from really poor people to really rich people that don't fucking need it. And it's basically like the casinos in Vegas. You don't win most of the time. You lose. They make money. That's why they're there. So the one person that makes a whole bunch of money hits it big. There's like 100 other people that lost everything. And that's the thing I don't like is that, it's one thing if you have a casino and people come there and make the choice to be in that environment. But if you're sitting at home and all of a sudden that casino and that kind of attraction is in your face on your television, that's a whole other different thing that's very, very nefarious and wrong in some ways. That's my personal opinion. Now, I know we are not going to line up on everything, but I'm really happy to see that there's people here that share my opinion about this and stuff like that. So Tom Duke is saying, Callie, I think that is how he mucked up his thumb with that thunder he brought in the third period last game. That is actually true, Tom. It looked like that. That one dunk that he made afterwards, that's when he started really holding his hand, Joel Embiid. That he looked like he hurt his hand when he made that thunder dunk. And yeah, I think you're right. I noticed that too. Clink saying totally to Callie. Callie saying serves him right. Callie's a badass. I love Callie. And Dom's like, yep. Well, that is actually something that NBA players have to watch out for when they're doing dunks and stuff. They got to watch out for the little things that hold the rim. I mean, that hold the net and like those they have sharp parts to it and stuff. And they could be very dangerous and you can hurt your hand that way. That's why when you do a dunk, you should have a real style and a real way of like doing it where you're not going to get hurt. And sometimes that doesn't happen if you put emotion into it and you're really like, and you grab it and then you're like, oh, fuck, I fucked up my thumb. That kind of shit. Greg saying, incidental segue. All right. He's doing segues and he spelled it with the machine instead of the other way to spell it. But I know what you mean. Sam Presti did his end of season interview, was a great example of how a good attitude to have when rebuilding growing culture. We are way ahead of schedule. Who do we play in round 2? I love it. Miami. Well, we'll see. Atlanta got a game. They won a game. This very interesting. There's competition in the 1 and 8 matchups and these both sides. Miami has lost to Atlanta. Phoenix has lost to New Orleans. It's really good for the NBA. We don't like seeing sweeps, and that's why we don't need no sweep today here in Toronto. We need to stop a sweep. No sweeps in the NBA playoffs this year. We are all going to get a win, at least one. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying 3.5 hours to game time. What are the players doing? How many are all dressed up already? I was thinking about this actually earlier. It's funny you brought this up. How do they prepare for a day that's so much earlier? It's like, they kind of, what way they do it is they stack their day with events that lead up to the game. So it's basically what's happening is their morning shoot around that they normally would have is their pregame shoot around. Is basically what it is. They just cut out the morning stuff that they normally would do to get ready for the game. And they just go right into like, we're going to the building and we're going right into regular shoot around before the game in preparation for the game in the morning. And then, around noon, they're doing like pregame, like everything in the back, talking to the coaches, watching film, doing all the regular stuff and getting, people getting shots up out in the arena also. So they just cut out the morning stuff. And they build up to the game like they normally would from the afternoon, right first thing in the morning. is that's kind of thing, because it really is an important schedule and procedure, and like what you do, like your itinerary every day should be the same as a player. It's like, I eat this at this time, I sleep in this point, like till then, and I shoot around for this amount of time, stuff like that. So they get their routine, and but they have to start at a different time and in a different way, and without the normal morning stuff is basically what it is. But yeah, it's very weird and interesting. CC's here. Good to see CC. Maybe the increase in gambling advertisements is a way for the government to increase income. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's nefarious in really weird ways. Ontario was so strict about this kind of stuff for so long, and all of a sudden, I guess there's been a lobby group or something that's come in, MGM, whoever the fuck it is, and they broke that barrier, and they're allowing them to get this way more wide open. And in some ways, it's not a good development to me. I don't think it is. And some people may argue with me for this reason or this reason, but I don't think it is. I don't think this is a good development for society. And it's definitely not good for lessening the inequality gap between like the haves and the have-nots. This is just basically another way that like very, very rich people will get even richer off of poorer people, is basically what it is to me. Tom Duke's saying 100% Kala. Rahul, all right, good to see another new name. Your thoughts on Siakam? I think Nurse should run the offense through OG, Gary, Fred, not Siakam. He should just set picks and shoot threes. This isn't a bad idea at all, Rahul. I like these ideas. I mean, especially if this dude is not going to step up and want to be the guy who carries us. Somebody else has got to do it. Like if it's not going to be Batman, then Superman needs to step up and do it. And I love the idea of Gary. I love the idea of OG. I think OG in some ways has already been kind of doing that in some ways. Like he was the one who was making shots for us late in the game in game 3. He was the one who was continuing to do that and stuff like that. Pascal, if you're not going to be aggressive and go take that, then you need to let somebody else do it and help them do it. And I know you will. He's that kind of guy. Maybe he is too easygoing. Maybe he doesn't have enough of an edge to want his and to go get his, like, Michael Jordan might want to or something like that. That's something we got to learn about his character. And it doesn't make him not worth the money. It doesn't make him bad or not be on the team. It just means that we need to understand what his limitations are as a player to a degree. And that this is a great constructive way of deciding maybe this is an alternative of what we could do instead. And I like this statement by Rahul. And I think that it's smart. You give Pascal the chance. Well, Pascal, if you ain't going to fucking step up and be aggressive and do it, then let's let OG try and do it. That kind of thing. CC saying government trying to make up funds lost due to COVID. Listen, I don't know if they've lost money during COVID, but maybe they have. I mean, some people have been making a lot of money during COVID. Like the people that run DoorDash, the people that run certain things are making a bundle. And that's the thing that I don't like, is that like a lot of wealth is being transferred from the very bottom people right on up to the very, 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 very top. And the increases in billions and billions of dollars that people like Elon Musk and, Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos for Amazon, with all the Amazon delivering going on when nobody could leave, that in itself is very kind of fucked up and kind of like sketchy. That, Jeff Bezos really, really, really profited off the pandemic because people had to stay home. They couldn't go to the day-to-day stores to buy their stuff, and they had to order it all through Amazon Prime. And that's why he got huge amounts of profits and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying, is that the pandemic made the rich richer in different ways. And I don't know if it's the government's making more money from this. It's going to be these gambling companies that do it. They're going to make more money. Maybe they get some taxes. Maybe they make some money off of it also in some ways. But I've also heard stories that the casinos and things that already exist in Ontario are pissed off about this because they're having to do all this rigmarole that it's kind of like Uber drivers and taxi drivers. Uber drivers don't have to do half the shit that taxi drivers have to do to keep their licenses and things like that. And well, the established casinos in Ontario have to do a lot of stuff to keep their stuff. And also they're a permanent brick and mortar place where you have to go to there to do it. Now, all of a sudden their competition is anywhere on the phone. You can do it anywhere. And they're not having to do some of the same stuff that they have to do license wise and things like that. And they're crying foul about this whole thing, much like a taxi driver would call foul about Uber or Lyft and stuff like that. So it's very interesting stuff. And once again, we're not concentrating on the game, but we're talking about societal stuff, I guess. Let's see. Rahul's also saying, The Raptors should make it tough on Embiid, especially with the injured thumb. Yeah, I was saying earlier, we should go to the side of his body that has that injured hand. We should key on it. Like if we're going to go near him and stuff like that, he may be more susceptible to turn the ball over because of his hand and his glove right now. And we definitely need to capitalize on that if we can figure out ways to do that for sure. Jimmy's saying he loves the positivity. That's why we're here, baby. We got to do it this way every day, all the time. This is how we're going to do it. Kenny saying, I hate early games for Raptors. I pray we pull this off. Yeah, I hate them too. Kenny, I saw your comments late last night. Good stuff. Really good stuff on the stream from yesterday. I appreciate that. Callie saying, let's just tire out Embiid, make him run up and down, go at old man Harden, put Precious or Flynn on Maxey. Yeah, Flynn on Maxey was a good experiment and did pretty good defensively. I just wish he did more for us offensively while he's out there also. But we'll take shutting down Maxey to a degree also. So it's very good. Rahul is saying, in order for the Raps to win, Gary and OG have to repeat the same performance as Game 3, at least. Yeah. And we get more from Fred and Pascal, then hopefully that'll put us over the top. But we need to do exactly a lot of what we did in the Game 3 for right up until maybe the last 5 minutes of the game. We did everything good right up until the last 5 minutes of the game. And then we fucked up then is basically what happened. All right, J.O.'s here. This is Sixer fan. Hey, what's up, bro? Can't wait for the game today. I really enjoyed your channel, but let's go Sixers. That's fair. He's got to say that. And J.O., listen, man, I know whatever happens with different things, I hope you'll continue to hang around and see our stream and stuff like that this summer if you feel like it, or at least just keep the subscribe. You don't have to keep watching me, but just being subscribed to me helps me so much in itself also. But you don't have to watch the content if you don't want to watch it. But I appreciate the relationship that we built with certain Sixer fans here, and you're one of them. And, may the best team win today. Whichever team works the hardest and plays the hardest and puts it all on the court the most should win today, and they deserve it. And you know what? This has been a good series for you guys in a lot of ways, not for us. But you know what? You guys deserve this in some ways because you guys have been building towards better and better things with your franchise and stuff like that. I just hate that it's at the detriment to our team and stuff like that. But in a lot of ways, Sixers fans have been deserving to get some good things happening for them over the years. And it's good that you're having it finally happen too. All right, let's see. Greg saying at Callie, amen, 100%. And also at Callie, and driving at home, get him on his heels. Even if he blocks the shot, now he has to run the court to get on offense. Got to exhaust him like we have in the games past. Yeah, we want to see Joel tired. We want to see him wiping sweat. We want to see him like maybe dogging it a little bit in the game because he has shown that at different times during the series where he is not getting around as quickly. And they leave him in anyway, just because they're like, we need to leave him in. But, you see those times in the game. You notice him when he's kind of like dogging it a little bit. So hopefully that'll happen. All right, let's keep going. That was Clink I just read. Tom Duke saying, OG probably chose himself to not miss playoffs, stayed off the court this season for all the games because he wanted to excel right now in the playoffs. That's an interesting thing. It must have been tough for him to have an appendicitis the night before the 2019 run and not even be involved in that whole time. And that's amazing to think about, that we won that championship without even OG Anunoby playing a single minute in that playoff run. It's absolutely crazy. And it could be that he held himself out a bit to make sure that he was absolutely available for the playoffs right now. And it's interesting theories you got there, Tom. Callie saying, yes, drive at him, force him to work, all 289 pounds of him. Yeah, force Joel to work, get him in foul trouble, do whatever you can to just disrupt his game, get turnovers on him. Getting turnovers on him is a huge key, is getting him to turn the ball over, whether he just loses the ball, it makes a bad pass, he doesn't catch the ball that's trying to be passed to him. Those are all different ways that can happen. Rahul's saying the Raptors can't make the same investment on Siakam again once his contract expires. I wouldn't disagree with this totally. I will a little bit, but not totally. I think that we'll have to see. And this is true. Like Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri watch these guys and see how they perform for their value for what we're paying them. And they make assessments of their next contract offer time and stuff like that. So who knows? They're going to be smart about this and make sure that they work within what is supposed to be happening with our cap space and things like that. But I agree with this to a degree. Like, if anything, we pay him exactly the same, but he should not be making more. Like, there's no way that he should be making an uptick in his next contract if he doesn't prove that he can be the absolute man and be the number one option, is what I'm saying here. So I won't disagree with this. I mean, listen, I'm being positive and I'm supporting our guys and stuff like that. But see, Rahul put this and framed this in a really good way. He's talking about when his contract expires, because we have made a commitment to him with the signatures on paper for this amount of time. And that us fighting with it or making it bad while he's on that contract is just stupid, because all you're doing is making a problem. It's like picking at a scab and making it bleed worse when you don't need to, because you're going to have that scab on your body for a certain amount of time it takes to heal. So I like this because he's talking about when his contract expires. Then you make decisions on what you do with him. You don't get herky-jerky in the middle of it, because this is kind of like a relationship, guys. You're dating a girl and you're committed and you know you're going to have to date her for like 2 years. You don't fucking make it shitty between you and her so that you're stuck because you're on a rent, like on a lease in an apartment with her for 2 years and you have to live with her. You don't fucking jerk her around. You try and keep things copacetic and smooth and nice and friendly. That's what I'm saying, is that these things can go bad and go south real quick, like Ben Simmons. And we don't want that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that would ever happen with Pascal because he's a character guy. But these are the possibilities of that kind of stuff, of like you unravel one little string from your shirt and then all of a sudden it becomes worse and stuff like that. We don't need to start doing that. And that's why I really love the way Rahul just like framed his question and what his statement is right there, is that he's saying when the contract is up, then we talk about whether he's worth it. Then we talk about what we're going to do with him and whether he's going to be on the team still or not. That's what I'm saying. Because right now we're on a lease with him for at least the amount of his contract. And we don't want things to be shitty all of a sudden because of that. Not that that would happen with him. It's just partly the fans turning on him and doing all this stuff is shitty. And that, you know, we're committed to him, at least with the contract that they have signed until it's done. Callie saying, imagine how much Embiid must have to eat. Oh my gosh, this is actually making me want to do the real mascot matchup because of what we got to do. All right, we're going to do this right now. Why not? Get it out of the way so I can get off the air as quick as I can when I'm done. All right, Tom Duke, here's your real mascot matchup. Last time we saw the mascot, the Raptor mascot, this is the guy who's at the games, the fun and loving crazy guy. He's with cosplay Ben Franklin at this Americana fair with all kinds of different events and stuff like that. And they had a pie eating contest, they had a dance-a-thon, and then they had a butter sculpture competition. The butter sculpture competition was very interesting. It was like, the Raptor was making a really beautiful sculpture. It was a sculpture of Drake, actually. It looked a lot like the sculptures in the Lionel Richie Hello video. You know the one I'm talking about with the blind girl who's making the sculpture of Lionel Richie's head. And by the way, doesn't Danny Green look like he could be Lionel Richie's son? I just want to put that as a sign. But yeah, these butter sculptures are starting to look like Lionel Richie's sculptured head on that video. Hello. I don't want to do it right now. But anyway, so he's doing a Drake one. Like that's the one that Raptors making. And at the other side, cosplay Ben Franklin's making a Meek Mill one. And he's kind of making it out of butter. They're using little scalpels and they're really getting intricate. Well, the Raptors he gets distracted and he has to walk away for a bit. And you know what Ben Franklin fucking does? He walks over to the butter sculpture of Drake and he basically chomps on his arm. Like he starts eating the butter straight up. Like while the Raptor went to the pisser or something, like he went to go to take a shit or something like that. And meanwhile, Ben Franklin's eating his butter sculpture while he's gone. He's literally just mowing down on it. So he comes back from the bathroom, the Raptor, and he's like, there's a big, huge mouth chunk out of the arm of Drake. And he's like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden the judges come over and they're like, oh, let's see what you got, guys. And they're looking at him and they're like, what is this? And the Raptor's he's trying to make something up, and they're like, the win goes to cosplay Ben Franklin for his Meek Mill, and that's how he won that one. I'm like, oh my gosh! So now there's one more competition, that their next competition is going to be, and that is All right, let me get a good one. It's a tug of war, y'all. Yeah, this time it's going to just be a straight up tug of war between the Raptor and cosplay Ben Franklin. They've got the rope, they've got a mud pit full of just shitty mud. It's probably got shit and mud in it in the middle, and they're both at different ends and they're pulling the rope. And we're just going to have to see who pulls the rope and pulls the other person into the mud today. Well, there's your real mascot matchup. Let's hope that cosplay Ben Franklin gets pulled into the shit today. Let's basically put it that way. But yeah, very interesting. Um, that's the story. Yeah, I did a Lionel Richie reference in the middle of that. Crazy. All right, Tom Duke saying, "Ha, Callie, he's a 60 pounds heavier than any Raptor. He is. He's heavier than any of our guys. He's got more weight to throw around. He's the biggest dude out there. He's a huge dominant force in this series." And that is just how it is. And that's why all the Raptors nation is saying, we need a center. We need a center. Callie saying, Rahul, disagree. Pascal is an amazing talent. He will improve. Yeah, she's standing up for Pascal. I'll support that all the time and stuff like that. Once again, I think that what he said is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And, we should be critical of our players because we want the best out of them. It's the same thing with like guys on the bench this year. We needed more from them. We need to be realistic. We can't be absolutely just blind eye. Everything's great and everything like that. It is true. We're fans. We want to win and we want to get the team towards winning more and more. But there's a fine line between slander, and this is something that G was arguing with Post Talk in the comments after the stream yesterday's. There's a fine line between just being a hater and slanderizing and being a supportive person of that person, but being constructively criticism of what they're doing also. And that's a lot of what we're seeing today. I'm not seeing anybody coming in here and just straight up slamming Pascal. We're basically talking about different ways we can either improve the team or we can improve his play and allow him to set him up to play better too. So, but yeah, I support Callie, and I agree. Pascal is amazing talent, and he will improve. I agree with that too. Cal is saying you're right about the online gambling boom being connected to the e-commerce and delivery apps boom, shifting profits from old-fashioned in-person business to giant platform corporations. Yeah, well, we see it in the streets of Toronto. There's so many places shuttered down. There's so many people's dreams of having restaurants and small businesses that have closed. And this is part of the really awful, insidious awfulness of the COVID pandemic is that people's lives had to be changed in different ways. And in some ways, it forced people to do things in bigger companies in ways that they didn't necessarily want to do. And that's why when things open up more and more, we need to support local. We need to stop feeding the giant beasts in this world, whether it's Amazon, whether it's DoorDash, whether it's this person. Go and do the stuff and go and support local small businesses and help them. Because especially if they've survived all this shit and they're still going, keep going, give them a boost and help them out is what I'll say. Blue City's here. Another Sixer fan. Let's see what they're saying. Breaking news. Embiid will be playing game 4. Yeah, we knew this. He's not been anywhere near the injury report, even though we know Ramona's report from practice yesterday about his hand and the things that he's dealing with. Is it, like I said to the fans earlier here, it's very similar to what Thad Young's dealing with right now. And we see that Thad Young can get out there and play with the glove. I mean, even OG with his broken finger. It's a little bit different, but they're things that NBA players have played with throughout the history of the NBA. Like Isaiah Thomas's broken hand with the Detroit Pistons in the 80s and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's definitely going to play. I'll see that. J.O.'s saying, yeah, man, for sure. I'll definitely stop in. Cool. Yeah, just check in from time to time. I know you won't be as interested in our content here once the series is over. But yeah, at least you found somewhere fun and new to come talk NBA and stuff. And honestly, I do value outside opinions and views. Like Random Gamer the other day, he gave us his opinion on Pascal Siakam and what he thinks of him yesterday and stuff like that. So it is always good to get different perspectives. And if we're all civil and mature and we can interact in a positive, okay way, then I'm all for every person from every single fan nation in this league. Maybe not Boston, but everybody else can come and hang out with us. Not Boston fan, though. I fucking really hate Boston fan in particular. I'm sure that Philly fan can get behind that. Oh, yeah, that's something we definitely share also, is that we both hate the Boston Celtics. We really hate them. And I know y'all really hate them because you guys have so much history with the Boston Celtics and from the 80s and all the battles that Dr. J and Larry Bird had in the playoffs and shit like that. So yeah, that's the kind of thing. It's like if I can get more and more representatives from each of the teams involved in the station in different places at different times, there's nothing wrong with that. That's badass, honestly. It's something I didn't expect to happen. Jay's saying the process years were so mentally draining. That's what I'm saying. Like in some ways, Philly fan really has earned some of the stuff that's happening for them. They've gone through so much misery. They've gone through so much losing. They've gone through so much different things with like this whole idea of the process was really not like I said, I don't think it was a success in some ways. I know you guys are bearing some fruit from it right now, but that is really not the way to go about trying to build your team into something really big and huge. I think that it has flaws to it, and I know you guys have seen them firsthand and felt them. The flaws of trying to do something like the process where you tank on purpose and you do try to get high draft picks and build that way. It really puts you in a bad, dark place for a while with your franchise, no matter what. And that's tough to change, like that culture. That's what I'm saying. You guys built a losing culture on purpose, and it's really hard to shift away from that in some ways. But you guys are getting out of it. It looks like it. It seems like it now. Tom Duke's saying, right on, J.O. Good luck, but better luck to Raptors. Let's go. Yes, Tom Duke. Yes. And Clink saying at Tom Duke, I think so too, Tom. He had the injured digit for most of the season. All teams did a lot of load management this year. COVID protocol allowed for a lot of rest too. You guys are talking about OG and him like saving himself. Yeah, I think that might be true. J.O. saying, Tom Duke, awesome, bro. Love the passion from you guys, ladies. Raps fans always bring it. Mascot matchup. You fire. You like that mascot matchup. Yeah, Tom, cosplay Ben Franklin's just a fatso. He was hungry, and he was like, he saw an opportunity to mess up the Drake sculpture and also get a little food into him. He's like, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, Sixer fans loving the mascot matchup segment. That's awesome. That must mean something. I mean, I don't know. Rahul's saying, if Siakam performance in the playoffs is really bad, there is no point of trading him because the Raps will have attached assets. See, that's very smart also. It's like you don't trade people when they're not looking that good to the eyes of everybody else because you don't get value. That's what I'm saying. You trade somebody like Kyle Lowry when he looks like he did at the end of the season, and boom, all of a sudden you got a Precious Achua. That's the biggest thing that I worry about when people talk about trading really good players like Pascal Siakam is we've been burned with the Vince Carter trade. We've been burned with other trades in the past where we trade a really good player of ours that's absolutely fantastic. We don't get jack shit back. Like one of the deals that I keep hearing people talk about in the last couple of days is us trading Pascal Siakam to the Charlotte Hornets for Mikal Bridges or like that Bridges guy on that team. I don't know which Bridges is. And so I'm like, this is not equal. This is not value. This is not what you guys think. Listen, this guy's really good on that team, but who knows? He could come to our team and be Tobias Harris as far as his output and be like the third guy on our team. And then we just took our best guy, then our guy that may not be a number one, but he's at least a number two. We know that. And then we brought in this other guy and he's not going to work or fit. That's what I'm saying is that it's like he's smart here because he's saying you don't trade someone their values down. You got to trade them when their value's up and they're looking good. That's part of the reason why we could trade Norman when we traded him for Gary. Is that Norman was looking good at that time of the season. He was playing very well. And that's what you want to do. And this is really smart. Rahul's coming in with like the right kind of perspective as far as he's able to be constructive and also be critical, but he's not dumping on him. He's just saying that if this happens, well, this is this and this. And I agree with him to an extent. Like some people are saying I'm too positive and giving too many chances to Pascal. Well, listen, I'm looking at him just like you guys are, but I will give him more of a chance just because we are really invested in him. And that's the thing. When you're invested in something and someone, you don't give up on them. You give them the chance to try and make it happen no matter what, at least within the duration of the contract. And that's what I'm saying. Tom Duke's saying just off the top of his wild mind. That's right. I just made that shit up all off the top of my head. Calipoon saying, laugh my ass off. Danny Green, Richie. I mean, seriously. I know Nicole Richie was never actually related to Lionel Richie. She's his adopted daughter. But I think that Danny Green might have been a stop on Lionel Richie's concert tour at some point. It was like, and he was saying hello to Danny Green's mother. Yeah, he's like, hello. I mean, we need to find this out. Where's Maury Povich? We need a DNA test. We need to find out if Danny Green has some singing chops too, because he could be all night long. He could be dancing on the ceiling. I don't know. It could be. It could be that. Tom Duke saying Ben is a savage. Yeah, we have to see this. I mean, Ben's got the weight advantage with the Raptor, but Tom, that the Raptor has a hidden advantage. That we know that if this happens in this tug of war, he's going to win it. And you know what it is, Tom. You know what it is. We haven't seen it for a while in the real mascot matchup. Things have been real nice and civil, but there is something that can happen to the mascot, the Raptor, that in these stories, and we know what it is. And that's what's going to need to happen for him to win this tug of war. Because if you're looking at the battle of the bulge, the literal bulge, Ben Franklin is like 289 pounds, like Joel Embiid. And the Raptor, he's more around like 200 pounds. So that's what I'm saying. With this tug of war, it looks like it's not very balanced. But we do know what the X factor for the Raptor mascot is in this whole situation. You know what I'm talking about, Tom Duke. And that's what I hope I get to tell this tale of in the next story. Oh, yeah. It's hilarious. And Tom Duke says, love a good tug of war. Gonna get filthy. Filthy. I don't know what's in there. There's some nasty shit. You might get some disease from getting into this mud. Is basically what I'm saying. Rahul's saying, I think Nurse put the Lano Banton on Maxey. He can contest him in the rims, and Banton is quick to stay in front of Maxey. It's an interesting idea, and I wondered why he hasn't tried it at different times. I think that in some ways he doesn't see Delano as being completely ready to play in the playoffs right now is part of it. He tried Malachi. Malachi's done pretty good. But I also want to see Armani get a chance at this too, because it seems like Armani is a pretty good defender. He's very quick himself and stuff like that. But yeah, stopping Maxey is continuously an important goal for the Raptors in this series. And we failed at it in the beginning, but we did much better in game 3. Raymond Jacobs saying, at Rahul, we all wish that, but Nurse has an annoying trait at sticking to only certain guys in the playoffs. Free Banton, free Bonga. I'd actually really like to see Bonga in some ways, for sure. Let's just see what happens today. Who knows? We may be pleasantly surprised in some ways, guys. Rahul's saying, that's one thing I get irritated by Nick Nurse. Yeah, the limited rotation, the not going deep enough. I don't know if it's just that our bench guys just aren't good enough. That talent drop off between the guys he absolutely trusts, that he gives the minutes to, the core guys, and then you go to like the guys that are on the bench. I'm not even going to name their names right now. It's just such a drop off in production and being able for him to trust them. They haven't shown that he can trust them in situations. That's part of it in all this. That's why this offseason, we need to get more guys on our bench that Nick Nurse can trust and have weapons to bring in and plug in and play for situational reasons and stuff like that. We're not having that this year. It's too bad. It's just that he doesn't trust his bench, and that's really why he hasn't played them that much. And that's irritated me at times also, especially with this whole talk this whole season about whether our guys are playing too many minutes. It's like, spread it out. Let the other guys play too a little bit. Give some spot duty in different ways. But Nick's just doing it the way he's doing it. And part of it is because he wants to maximize the amount of reps with the guys that are really a part of our future, like as much as possible. And that's what I'm saying. He wanted to get Scotty, Precious, and Pascal and OG and Fred as much time on the court altogether. And that's really the big reason why this happened. Callie is saying, I think Pascal does have the killer instinct and desire, but he doesn't need to be top 5 or even top 10 in the league. Masai philosophy is different. We're heading for a 3-headed monster of Scotty, Pascal, and OG. I like that 3-headed monster. And I think that could happen. Like, honestly, that's the thing. Do you want, people keep saying you don't win in the playoffs without a superstar. Superstars win in the playoffs. Well, can you have enough stars that kind of make up for a superstar altogether? Is that what we're looking at? Or will one of these Raptors step and truly be a superstar in their next level of growth and development? Maybe OG's that guy. Maybe Scotty's that guy. Maybe Precious is that guy. And maybe it's still Pascal, that he's still going to grow and get even better and show another whole level on top of what he did this year, that we can count on him. Because, like I said, I keep comparing him to DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan has failed in clutch situation. He has done absolutely nothing in playoff years for the Toronto Raptors in past. And now, look, he's hot and cold. He didn't show up the game last night, but he did show up really big in the game before and got 41 points. And that's the kind of stuff we want to see from Pascal, is to show up and take over games and show that he has more to offer in higher levels, higher intensity places than he has in the past. And that is the growth we want to see in him. And that's still very possible in that way and stuff like that. So I'm a fun guys here. Good to see I'm a fun guy. Somebody who's been watching my channel since the very beginning, and I very much appreciate. Raptors so damn disappointing right now, but 4 straight is not impossible. It's not. And like I said, the way that Nick Nurse talked about it yesterday, he's like, well, nobody's come back from 0-3, but somebody's come back from down 3-1. And so it's like, all right, I kind of understand your logic, but okay, I'll take it. I love that the coach is saying this. But yeah, we'll have to see. We're going to have to win today. Definitely, for sure. Rahul's saying at Callie, I totally disagree. Siakam has the talent to be great, but he doesn't have killer instinct. Yeah, like I can understand why you think that, especially from his interview yesterday. If he's just cruising along and he's not really paying attention to what he's doing on the court, I don't like that. I really don't like that. Like I said earlier in the stream, I want you to start asking people on the bench what you got for points or stats so far and go out and make mini goals in the game, Pascal. That's how you do it. You have to want to eat. You have to have something to shoot for. You have to have some sort of motivation to say, all right, I've got 15 points right now. I want to get 25. So I need to get another 10 points. And you need to be having that abacus in your head going over and like, psh, psh, this is all right. I did that. Psh, psh. And that's the thing. You can't, like, I hate that you said this yesterday, that you said you didn't even know how many shots you took in the second half or anything about what the points you're doing. You don't know consciously what you're doing or putting the effect on the game. That's not good. And in some ways, I can't defend you if you're going to say stuff like that in your interviews, that you sound like you're aloof and you're not really paying attention to what you're doing out there is what it sounds like. And I don't like that. I do not like that. But yeah, the killer instinct thing is something that it's in varying degrees in certain ways. Like we've seen him have a killer instinct during the regular season where he's absolutely just dominant and just taking over and stuff like that. And it just hasn't translated to now. I don't know. He's such a weird enigma. I just wish he would just fucking take it. I want him to take it very seriously and care a lot, because if he doesn't care enough, then I will start siding with other people. If he seems too casual about all this and stuff like that, then I will start siding with some of the more negative people. But I'll do it in a way that's constructive, like I said, instead of just tearing them down and stuff like that. Clink saying, I'm a fun guy. Keep the faith, brother. We all need it to see some fight and to make it worth it. Yeah, we'll just have to see how we'll know at the beginning of the game whether they're coming out there and doing a good job. We'll also know whether the refs are going to fuck with us or not. Also, Jo saying the process is process in all honesty sucked. Okafor, Nerlens Noel, Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons all gone. And if Joel didn't get hurt in college, he would have been the number 1 pick and we would have gotten Jabari Parker. Yeah, that's true. Like you just named the list of the kind of players that you guys drafted with like tanking. And like, how many of them are still with the team and how many of them are they? And look, yeah, you could have had Jabari Parker instead. Yeah, this is real talk from Sixer Nation right here about the process. Really interesting. Greg saying at Callie, I get what you mean, but 3-headed monsters are Stephen A. Smith bullshit based on the old Heat days. Now, anytime a team does well, we just name their best 3 players. Raps want a team of next man up threats. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with a lot of that. But you know what? Listen, there's no back and forth with this kind of thing. It's like this is actually kind of something that's just kind of labeling. It's a labeling. It's just like labeling, oh, you're the 1. Oh, no, you're the 4. That kind of stuff. It's like just kind of labeling. It's not really anything that has to do with the actual like things that are happening on the court in some ways. But yeah, I'd like to have a 5-headed monster, to be honest. J.O. saying Danny Green is the songbird of his generation. I really want to sing right now, but my voice is all messed up right now. I don't feel like I can right now. Or I would do a really good Lionel Richie impression because I can really do him. Oh, yeah, I can do Stevie too. I do I Just Called to Say I Love You in karaoke, and I fucking kill it. I can do the high stuff that he does. I mean, seriously. Like, hello, is it me you're looking for? Yeah, my voice is messed up right now. It's not right. I tried. Daryl Turner, good to see Daryl as usual. Good morning, my G. Yes, I hate to say this, but I think tonight is Custard's last stand. I think the conversation of the Raptors needing a center is up for discussion after the playoffs, for sure. For sure. We've already kind of started with this. And you know what? This may be the first Thursday think tank that we do. Well, it's not until the off season, but the first Thursday in the off season, we may have a workshop on here talking about possible plans for how we can rectify this center situation on our roster this summer and stuff like that. So we'll look at it then and stuff like that. But we are already talking a lot about Nurkic this week. We are talking a lot about Portland's Yusuf Nurkic as a possible target this offseason. Raymond Jacobs saying test results are in. Lionel, Danny, you all right, like I can do Maury. The results are in. Danny, Lionel is your father. You are the son. Tom Duke saying, come on, Raptors, enjoy yourselves today. Playoff ball is so fun. Let's go. Yes. And Raymond Jacob, always freaking funny. Yes, for sure. You guys are laughing your asses off. I love it. So the happiness and love is so good. It's so good. All right. Now, Greg's saying at Daryl, for sure, but this was a necessary step in this conversation. What better test than Joel? I think a Yurt 7 Hartenstein works. No need to break the bank on a Turner who can't run. This is the thing. I don't think this is a starting center that the Raptors need to get. I think this is like a role player off the bench that you come and bring in for specialty reasons. That if we can play our team the way we played it this year and just have that guy, that big guy off the bench that you bring in if you're absolutely getting killed like that. That's what I see it as. And it could be somebody that is like Nurkic who can be a starter, but he's kind of in between. He's like, he doesn't necessarily have to start, but he can also be like, it's that kind of thing. I look at it that way. Like, yeah. And it doesn't need to be like a superstar. Like there's so few of them. And you really do have to break the bank to get somebody like Jokic or Embiid on your team. So we have to think about what do we want from that position? Do we want a scorer? No, we don't necessarily want a scorer. We want somebody who can run with us with our kind of schemes, with the very mobile, switching quickly, like Jakob Pertl can switch in mobility wise. He's that kind of guy. He has the right height. He has the right physicality. But once again, like David Robinson, he has the mobility, the steps so that he doesn't burn us with what we're trying to run with our system. And that's right. That's a very specific kind of center that we're looking for this. And there are people like Pertl. Pertl is perfect. Honestly, if we could figure out how to get Pertl back, it would be so good. Oh my gosh, it'd be so good. All right, let's see. Rahul's saying, I want the Raps to build the team around Gary, OG, Scotty, and Precious. Yeah. And in a way, this is actually kind of what's set up for the future. Fred and Pascal are important too, and they will be around for a certain amount of time. But we don't know what would happen possibly. I do want to put my eggs in the basket of Scotty for sure. Like he is numero uno, but these guys also are important too. So, but you know what? That's what I'd say. Numero uno is Scotty, and maybe somebody like Precious is number 2 as far as like who we want to really try and develop and bring up in certain ways and maybe be focal points of our team. Sheldon Evans is here. Good to see Sheldon. They have to win. No sweep. Such a good team. Yeah, we were so good this year, and the wheels fall off right at the beginning of the playoffs in the first game in all kinds of different ways. And it sucks. It's disappointing. It is a failure in a lot of people's eyes, but to me, it isn't. And the reason why it's not a failure is because it's circumstance. It's a lot of different factors involved in everything that happened all at the same time. And it's unfortunate. We got an opponent we thought would be a mismatch and help us, but it actually turned out that they were a lot more prepared and ready than we were, and that they're more playoff tested. They're more this and that. And Joel Embiid just has more of a chip on his shoulder than any of our guys does at this point. And maybe this is how our guys get a chip on their shoulder, is by losing to them in certain ways. And that's the kind of thing. That is how one thing becomes the other thing. Is you got to lose, you got to be disappointed, you got to have failure, and you get a chip on your shoulder, and then you come back like Joel Embiid, and you play even better, and you do stuff like that. That's just part of it. But I agree, Sheldon, this was such a good team this year, and they deserve better, but also in the same way, I'm super proud of them. They overachieved, and they did way better than anybody else thought they would. And that's the first thing we need to realize about any of the fallout that happens from this season. Is that they did better than anybody thought they would. Their record is so good for what they thought they would be. 48 wins. That's fantastic. I mean, in getting to the 5th seed, seriously, we're projecting us at 13. They were projecting us at 12, and we're in the 5th seed. So this is a huge successful year. And we can't just let the playoff series with the Sixers determine whether our season was a success or a failure. I know a lot of people say, well, this is a playoffs. That's where it matters. That's when it happens. And that's where it should be either a success or a failure. Well, no, you can have a very successful year and fail in the playoffs. That's what I'm trying to get across the Raptors nation right now. Daryl's saying that drafting center Kofi Colburn, center from Illinois, who has the same agent as Pascal, is the answer for Joel Embiid. Very intriguing. I've been on the record recently for saying that I don't think it's drafting someone, because every center from the draft is a project. And they're 3 or 4 years away from actually being maybe a dependable player, unless you get like a top 5 center like Evan Mobley or something like that. That's the difference. But for me, I'd much rather get a center that's been in the league from free agency this summer, that has kind of got good experience, that we can plug them right in and we can depend on them for what we actually need from them. Because the center from the draft is going to be unproven in all kinds of ways. And it's going to take them at least 4 or 5 years to get up to speed and be ready to be a really good NBA contributor. And with the window of our guys and the contracts and what we're trying to do with this core, I think it's the way that I'm saying with the free agency. Now, I'm not against drafting a center and having a project center that's coming up after the free agency guy. And that may be really wise and smart, because we haven't done that. We have not been farming centers to come up in our organization since Jakob Poeltl. He's the last one. And that may be smart. You draft the center. He may not be the guy that comes and saves us with the things that we need right away, right now. And we get a free agency center also. I was crying out for this for years before the Tampa year and then this year, that we need to have 3 or 4 centers on our roster. I hated having only Serge and Mark. I thought that was too thin at that position. I was saying we need another big guy, because if we lose either one of them, we have only one center. And I hated that. And I was saying that for years and years. I've been a very big advocate for having more centers on the Raptors for years now. And I've kind of lessened it this year just because of the way that we're playing with the positionless basketball and the mobility of it. And I see the strengths of it, not having a big lumbering center that slows it down. And that's the thing. That's the balance. We want to find somebody who can run with our positionless schemes and switching and everything like that, and doesn't cause pad mismatches for us. So it's a very, very particular kind of center that we need to get. Yeah, it's very interesting. And Raymond's saying exactly what I was saying here. It takes years to develop from the draft. But you can get somebody in free agency like Nurkic is the kind of guy I'm talking about. Rahul's saying, I don't know if Siakam understands that he's making $30+ million, and if he's required to be a franchise player. Take some responsibility by attending post game after a loss and take blame of the loss. He does, though. Quite often he'll come in and he'll talk after the game. He understands a lot of this stuff. I mean, everybody has different ways of dealing with pressure, and maybe he's being aloof. Maybe he doesn't want to put so much pressure on himself in some ways, and it's coming across in a bad way towards us. But I mean, he understands a lot of this stuff. It's just that he needs to make it translate. As far as what his intention is, what he wants to accomplish and be successful on the court, he needs to make it translate to reality, is what we're saying. Megan M's here. Good to see another new name. We're here every morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, live. And I'm going to do this all through the offseason. So it doesn't matter. We're going to be here every day. It doesn't matter if we're playing or not. Once Embiid is out, Raptors will break the NBA record of coming back from 3-0. Karma will come to Embiid for injuring Scotty. Wow, Megan, what a tough statement right away. And I'm not saying that I hate it or anything, but yeah, once again, we don't want anybody to be hurt or anything. But if things happen, whatever. J.O.'s saying, wow, that's good. I used to sing in the shower, but my next door neighbor called and said, are you okay? It sounds like somebody is being strangled. That's hilarious. You're hilarious. Yeah. I love singing. Like I said, I have this function in this live stream. If you guys put the word impression equals, I will do an impression of whatever you said. I already did Tom Duke getting a tattoo this morning, and I'll do songs too. Like if you want me to try and sing a song, if I don't know the song, I'll make it up and I'll fuck it up, but I will at least attempt it. I know many songs though, and I know many tunes. So you'd be surprised if you put a song in there, I might be able to actually sing it really well, because this is the thing at karaoke. I never ever sang the same song twice. I always sang it once and then I never sang it again. And I go through like all different songs and all genres. Like I'll sing country, I'll sing whatever. I may not be familiar with a lot of country songs, but I'm familiar with many rock songs, and especially classic rock. If there's anything on Q107, I will be able to sing it for the most part. Yeah, stuff like that. But thank you for appreciation, and I'm glad that your neighbor did not call the police and get a call on your house or anything like that. Rahul's saying Raps should pursue a trade for Mo Bamba. That's an interesting idea. He fits with us for sure, and he actually would be. Is he actually technically a center? That's what I'm saying. Maybe he is the guy. That's very interesting. Laugh out loud at Jo from Greg. It's hilarious. Rahul saying no Rudy Gobert. He's overrated. He's making $40 million per year. I actually like Rudy Gobert, but he did exactly what Giannis did. He's the supermax for Utah now. He made the decision in the point in time because he was our second choice. I'm not gonna lie, guys. If we weren't going to get Giannis in the Giannis sweepstakes during the Tampa year, it was Rudy Gobert was the second person on our list. But both of them turned around and signed the Supermax and committed to the teams that they're currently on already. And that's the thing. Rudy Gobert became not available either. But he was possibly going to be our second option in the Giannis sweepstakes when we were going to possibly try and get Giannis. But they both did their Supermaxes. So Gobert's not going anywhere unless they trade him. And I don't think they'll trade him. I think Utah's really made him a cornerstone of their team. At Raymond Jacob from Greg, good point. Might be better to trade or get in free agency with a player others have given up on. Yeah, that's exactly right. Because centers are like that. Like Jonas, we drafted Jonas in like 2011 or 2012. And look how long it took for him to become a really good quality center. It took him like 6 years. Like when he was on our team, he was not that good for the first few years in a lot of different ways. And he really grew into becoming who he was. And even Pirtle did it quicker in some ways. Like Pirtle did it in like 4 years. But it does take some time to be actually an established good center from draft. And you want to kind of go and pick up somebody who's already put in some time. Daryl's saying, then what better than Kofi Cockburn, who doesn't need 30, 40 minutes to run, hang, and bang with Sky and the boys? Look, I love the name. And I think that, like I said, it'd be great to draft the center and have a project coming up afterwards because it'll make things easier down the road instead of having to go find one in free agency. It's like for the next crop. It's like if we have a guy we developed internally and stuff like that. So I love the idea of drafting a center and getting one in free agency. Why not get two and just add them to what we got? You guys are laughing at Greg. Greg saying, if this season was a complete bust, I wouldn't have won money just for saying the Raps make the playoffs. Anyone who watched more than highlights knows every single player on the team grew this season. Yeah, there's so much to celebrate. And that's something we will do when the offseason starts. I'm going to have a whole celebration stream. We're going to talk about everything good that happened. Paul B's already compiling a list. We're going to do a whole best dunks of the year kind of segment. We're going to do all that kind of stuff when the offseason starts. So it's going to be good. Raymond Jacobs saying at Clink, yep, just no Aaron Baines repeats, please. This is really fucked up and weird. I had a dream just this morning. I was waking up. My girlfriend called me and woke me up. She said, it's 8:45, Lex. You better get up. You got to stream at 9:30. And I was in the middle of a dream where I was sitting at a table at a restaurant with Aaron Baines and Svi Mahalik. And we were talking. And I was basically telling Aaron Baines that I was sorry about what happened to him in Japan. And that, I'm sorry that Raptors Nation was so bad to you. And that you've had such a hard life. And then he was kind of being a dick to me. It was a really weird dream. And then the phone rang and I woke up and then my girlfriend's like, wake up. And I'm like, are you Aaron Baines? And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like really weird. Like, why am I fucking having a dream with Aaron Baines in my fucking dream? It's really weird. I don't like that. Rahul's saying DeAndre Ayton is available this offseason. Ooh, that'd be a home run. That would be a huge, huge plus. But is it realistic? And what would we have to give up to get him? That would be the tough thing to figure out. Now, I'm not opposed to this because he's exactly the kind of center that I love to have on our team. Him and what's his name for Washington? Gallert or whatever the fuck his name is. Those guys are similar kind of centers, and they're both would work with what we're trying to do. But you know what? Look, Phoenix is trying to get a championship. They do anything like that, they're going to try and keep their core as much as possible. But Ayton is a great target. I would love to see Ayton in a Toronto Raptors jersey for sure. Greg saying that Daryl Turner, do you mean Kofi Cockburn? Quite a name. He could do interviews with Jack Armstrong and Jack's old buddy, Ron Jeremy. Oh, my gosh. Clink went there. But if any season was this for do this, it would be the Jack Armstrong, Ron Jeremy flub season. So this is all why fair game. Lion Hunter's here. Good to see Lion Hunter, a new subscriber recently. Imagine if Fred, Gary, and Barnes were healthy. Pascal looks exhausted. I say we still take this to 6 games. I love it. I love it, Lion Hunter. This is the optimism we got to have today. And let's go get it. Yeah. Daryl saying, yeah, Kofi Coburn. Just watch his YouTube highlights and let me know what you guys think. Fair enough. All right. I don't really go and scout anybody because there's so much out there, but I might actually do that because you're really pushing him this morning, Daryl. I will probably go check him out. But there's not enough time between now and the game, so I'll have to be later. Raymond's saying, sorry, but Jack Armstrong would never be able to say Cockburn with a straight face. You know that it's Coburn. When you pronounce that last name, it's not Cockburn. I have a friend who I used to work with at the Air Canada Center who made subs with me named Ron Coburn. And it's spelled that way. And we called him Ron Coburn. So unless they tell you, yeah, my name is Cockburn. my name is Kofi Cockburn. Call him Coburn because it's not pronounced Cockburn. Oh, the places we get to on this stream. Like we're fucking singing Lionel Richie and we're talking about cockburns. Oh my gosh. Greg saying that Raymond Jacob, laugh out loud. The night he said Ron Jeremy instead of Ron Burgundy will remain one of my all-time favorite rap moments. That is definitely a highlight of this year. That is something, there's a lot of great highlights on the court, but that is a highlight from the broadcasters. Like that with Matt Devlin's calling out washing machine cycles when Pascal would make sure super spin. Like what the fuck? These guys were on fire this year. Honestly, our broadcasting team that's on TSN with Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong were the best that they've ever been in the years and years of Raptors broadcasters. They did a good job. And that's saying a lot because we had Chuck Swirsky in our history of broadcasters, and he was absolutely fantastic with Jack. Back in the day with the salami and cheese and all that kind of stuff was badass. But I actually think that Matt Devlin and Jack Armstrong this year were better than any of the years that Chuck and Jack did together back in the day. And that is high praise because Chuck Swirsky was my favorite Raptors commentator for a long, long time. And Matt Devlin has finally passed him this season because he's just been, like I keep saying this year, when Matt Devlin calls a game, I feel like he's taking an edible. Like he's eating a fucking marijuana brownie before the game that he's so wild with what he's saying and stuff like that. And he still does a good job calling the game, but he's so loose still. It's hilarious. The family's here. But look at Joker, second pick. Right away, it was impactful. It's luck with the right guy at the right time. Yeah, but that's lottery. That's lottery. That's what I'm saying. It's like we're not going to get a lottery pick. We don't want lottery picks, first of all. But yeah, that's how it works. You got to get somebody ready-made that's already like, this is a Shaq, or this is Joel Embiid, or this is a Nikola Jokic. And that you have to have a lottery pick. And that was Evan Mobley. And in fact, this offseason, this past draft, I was looking at the guys and I was kind of hoping that Evan Mobley would fall to us. Is that, yeah, I'm not lying. Like when I looked at everybody who possibly the Raptors could have picked at 4, and I wasn't even looking at Scotty at that time. I was like, man, it'd be great if Evan Mobley somehow, some way fell to the 4 spot and we got to draft him. That was actually what I wanted before the draft. I didn't want Suggs. I never, ever wanted Suggs. I actually wanted Mobley. And then when Mobley wasn't there and they took Barnes, I was very pleasantly surprised in that way also. But yeah, that's the thing. He's like, no, we don't want to tank like Philadelphia did to get Joel Embiid, because they just said they hated that process. And we don't want to do it that way. We want to win and get it organically the right way in different ways and stuff like that. But we don't want to be having a second pick in the draft. That means we're a very bad team. And that's not going to be the way to do it. Greg's saying at Daryl, thanks, dude. I earmarked him for second round prospects to scout. Appreciate it. All right, we're going to go look at Kofi Coburn later on. Family saying, I think he's a restricted free agent. You're talking about Ayton probably. Yeah, there's no way Phoenix lets him walk. There's no fucking way. Like the only way they do that is they do a sign and trade and they're getting something major in the other direction. Clink saying, only a guy named Coburn would tell you to pronounce it Coburn, Lex. Only a guy named Cockburn would tell you to. I don't know. It's Coburn. Yeah, it's Coburn. That's the normal pronunciation for that name. The people that are running around with that name, I know one personally, and he's a nice guy. He's from St. Vincent's. He's an island dude, Ron Coburn. I love Ron. Ron, have you ever watched this? In fact, Monique might know Ron, or Sadie does for sure. I mean, Sadie at the building. His name's Coburn. So that's yeah. I know you guys hate that. I'm taking away your infantile fun, but it is what it is. Unless he comes up and then they announce him, and they say with the fourth pick in the draft, the Toronto Raptors select Kofi Cockburn. Daryl said, also watch tape. His high school Twin Tower teammate now at Oklahoma State, center Musa Cece, for next year's draft too. Wow, lots of interesting people. Yes, laugh out loud the speed wash, laugh out loud on the edibles. I'm pretty sure he is. I'm not lying. This man is on something. And Rahul saying, I don't want the Raps to pursue Rudy Gobert. They did at one time, but it's not happening. And you know what? You're right. Maybe we did dodge a bullet because a lot of people are dogging him. They don't feel like he's worth his money in any kind of way and stuff like that. We don't want to have these kind of problems. Like, listen, if Pascal's all NBA third team, he's this and this and this, he's worth the money. And a lot of people say he's not worth the money because of the playoffs and the performance and shit like that. He's still worth the money. Because one of the things is people, and somebody made this argument this week, is really important to understand. Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam were both absolutely essential for us to get to this point in our season this year. Let's not get this twisted. These men put in hard work for us to get to 48 wins and get to the fifth spot in the playoffs and stuff like that. So it's that kind of thing. It's like, it's that kind of stuff. Anyway, I lost train of thought. Let's see. Raymond Jacobs saying, we'll check him out, Daryl. This offseason, number one priority is we fix all we lack. Yeah, and I think, honestly, the bench upgrades are more important in some ways. But upgrading at center with a bench center is an upgrade as far as upgrading the bench. But the bench absolutely has to be a better thing for us next year. That's a huge area where we can improve and really show an increase in our wins for next season, is if we have guys that are really reliable off the bench and give us different kinds of weapons and looks in situational situations, like needing a center for a certain reason. Family saying Joker was a second round pick, not a lottery not lottery second round, like 58th. I didn't realize that. I don't pay attention to all that kind of stuff when they come in and stuff. So okay, well, that's good. That's a home run. And did Masai Ujiri have anything to do with that? Because I know he was running the Nuggets for a while there and stuff like that. It makes me think that he maybe had something to do with it. Rahul saying there were rumors that Raps wanted to trade their pick to move up to get Mobley. Yeah, that's definitely true too. I do remember that. Okay, we're just under 2 hours, and the game is going to be in like 2.5 hours. So I'm going to wrap things up. I really appreciate everybody being here this morning. We have to win today. This is no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't give a shit if Scott Foster's there. I don't give a shit if Ed Malloy is there. And Rodney Mott, it can be a nice guy to us, but those other two guys are notorious refs that do fucked up things in games. So hopefully maybe we get a fair call, but we're going to understand what's happening. And the fans need to be exactly how they were on Wednesday. This is a weird time to go to the game. And in fact, I hope most of the fans that are going to the game are on their way there right now. Because if they open the arena early, you guys need to get in there early and be starting to build that atmosphere in there right away. We don't need people showing up late and getting into their seat at like 2:15, 2:30. This is not good. So we need to come down there and come correct right away and get down there right now. Don't waste any time. Don't fucking wait around. Just go right on down there and just go right in the building. They might have the building open at noon for all we know. So you could go in there and hang out. Maybe you'll get an autograph, or maybe you'll get to watch one of your favorite players shoot around for like 30 minutes before the game. But start building that atmosphere inside the building early if you can, if you're going to the game. And obviously treat it like you did on Wednesday, because we did perfect as a crowd. Our crowd was amazing, and I'm so proud of them. Now, for the guys, you guys know what you have to do, Raptors. You cannot fucking lose today. We cannot get swept and have Shaq be right with his bullshit. We need to get at least one. And today is the day. We got to do it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. This is where you put up or shut up. You make it happen or you don't, and you're fucking done. And we don't want that to happen, Raptors. Specifically, Pascal Siakam, you have to show something in good faith to Raptors Nation, because they are down on you right now. And I want to defend you, but you got to give me some ammunition that I can fire back at them for reasons why you're great and why we need you on our team. And you can do that today, Pascal. I really hope that you understand the gravity and the pressure of what you need to do today and that you succeed, because this is going to be a long summer if you don't. And that is what I'm saying right now. So, yeah, let's hope for the best. And I know our guys are going to come out and give a good effort. You need to play like your lives on the line, Raptors, because in some ways, your life as a playoff team in this season is on the line. It is for sure. And it's put up or shut up time. There's no fucking excuses after this one. You need to make sure you win. And you can't have a repeat of game 3 where you don't absolutely seal the deal and put that foot on the throat and finish it. Like the guys were saying in the nightcap afterwards, you did not put your foot on the throat and make sure you won it. And they had some life in it and they stole it back. We cannot have a repeat of that. You need to go all out. And if you get a 17-point lead, make it a fucking 30-point lead. Get that maple syrup out that Tom Duke and I enjoy so much on pancakes. Get that maple syrup out and just pour it on as thick as you can and get a lead as much as you can, because no lead is like not big enough. We need a as big a lead as we can get in this game tonight. That's right. Tom Duke said, all right, I'm going to say this in the way that William Wallace would say. When we go out there, we give it all. We leave it on the court. We do everything we can because there's no tomorrow. We've got to do it now. Your heart is free. Have the courage to fall it. Some Braveheart. Let's go, Lumpy Rex. Yes, Raptors, give me more to talk about tomorrow in a very positive way in a reaction to tomorrow. I do not want to do a reaction tomorrow to you losing and us having our season over. I want to react to a great Raptor win, extend this series, and have us playing a Game 5 in Philadelphia on Monday night. That's what I'm saying. Let's go, Raptors. We got the oil cans of maple syrup out for today. We need to lay it out and lay it on thick. That's what I'm saying, baby. Let's go, Raptors. We have to win. This is so important. Don't fuck around with this. Go get it. Go eat, Pascal. Find out how many points you have and make sure you get to that high water mark, because you get 30 points tonight. We will still love you no matter what. You get 25 and you get a triple-double, we will still love you no matter what. But if you get 12 points and you don't score in the second half, it's going to be real hard for me to defend you, Pascal. I'm sorry. All right, let's go. Oh!